Fort Collins, Colorado awaits a sellout crowd of 41,000. The traditional Ram Walk back on campus for the first time in 50 years as Colorado State enters its new home, ready to take on Oregon State. Welcome to College Football 2017, the first game of the season, right here on CBS Sports Network. In Fort Collins, Colorado, at Colorado State's brand new on-campus stadium, the Oregon State Beavers from the Pac-12, first game to make the trip to Colorado State. And in front of this sellout crowd, on campus, on their new field, for the first time from the Mountain West Conference, the Rams of Colorado State. Welcome back on campus, Colorado State football, and welcome to College Football 2017 with Jenny Dell on the sideline, Aaron Taylor in year 10 with CBS Sports, and a very familiar face around these parts, Rick Neuheisel. I'm Carter Blackburn, and it is truly our pleasure to bring you the beginning of the college football season.
All right, I was trying to play it cool, but I got goosebumps right there, right? Fellas, today the theme for me is a day of first. This is the first game of the season. We've all been waiting for it. It's the first game in this stadium, which I think is a gold standard for an on-campus group of 5 venue, but it's also the first opportunity for each of these teams to make a strong statement that a new era of football has begun for their respective programs.
You just said something significant, Aaron. That is the group of 5. And don't tell group of 5 programs or group of 5 players they can't play with the Power 5. They got a little chip on their shoulder. They are excited that Oregon State from the Pac-12 is here. They're ready to do battle.
Nick Stevens is ready for 2017. A solid close to the end of last year. Didn't start so well. 6 for 20 in the opener versus Colorado. So on the bench, then he came back. Last 7 games, red hot. And speaking of quarterback play for Oregon State, the quest for a consistent quarterback now in the hands of Jake Luton.
Jake Luton becomes the 3rd straight different starting quarterback in the Gary Anderson era at Oregon State. He's a big, tall, rangy guy, about 6'7". They hope he reminds Beaver fans of another signal color, that being Sean Mannion from several years ago. The good news for Luton, he's got a guy to hand off to in that backfield who is nothing short of bull elk on bull elk. Nall ran for 951 last year, led the Pac-12 in yards after contact. He's going to be hard to corral by these Ram defense.
And was huge in the closing win over Oregon. So now for the Beavers and Gary Anderson, they have to break another streak. 0-11 on the road under Gary Anderson. They have lost 13 straight on the road overall. If you couldn't tell from the atmosphere here in the place they call Fort Fun, the emotions are running high all around. Week 0 of the college football season, and it'll be Colorado State kicking off to Oregon State. Oregon State won the toss and deferred. The college football season is underway. Braxton Davis, a touchback to get it started. So Oregon State has it at the 25-yard line after the touchback. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups begins with Jake Luton, the junior from Washington, Rick, who has already been through a lot in his college career.
Started his career at Idaho, transferred back to Ventura Junior College where he put up big numbers, looking for a place to play, as is the case with a lot of young quarterbacks. This is an ideal environment given that the running back behind him is such a star.
And we expect to see a lot of number 34, Ryan Nall. Luton 1st and 5, Nall touches it again. Straight across the 30, breaking a tackle as he gets to the 34. Jamal Hicks finally brings down Nall, gain of 9. Let's take a look at the rest of the lineup for the Beavers.
Well, Rick nailed it. He was talking about Ryan Nall, but Gary Anderson told us if Oregon State wants to be better, they got to throw it. Offensive center Sumner Houston, a converted defensive lineman, making his first start ever as an offensive lineman on the road.
Luden another deep shot, and again overthrows the intended receiver for this tested Colorado State defense.
If Colorado State's going to take the next step and get to be considered as a group of 5 dominant team, they're going to need their defense to improve. The stalwart in the middle of it is a guy by the name of Evan Colorado. They're going to need him to play lights out and run stopping defense.
Luden. 2nd and 10, Luden incomplete. Rocket, but he couldn't thread it in there to Isaiah Hodgins, a true freshman who's been targeted twice already.
Great coverage right there by the Rams secondary. They got up in their faces. That's the sort of thing Marty English is counting on from the back end, especially on downs 1 and 2, so that everybody up front can focus on the running game.
3rd and 10. Luden checks. Only 37% a year ago on 3rd down. Luden looking for a dragging receiver, complete over the middle, and scampering for a 1st down. Jordan Villeman as the Beavers convert 3rd and 10.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Just a nice shallow cross by Jordan Villeman. What I'd like Luden to do is going through his reads, he comes all the way to backside to his last outlet to pick up the 1st down.
Villeman was a part of the Sean Mannion offense. He's got to be excited to have a big quarterback back there that he can find.
Play fake to Nall. Luden looking deep again. Wide open touchdown. And the first touchdown of 2017 belongs to the Oregon State Beavers. Timmy Hernandez, 39 yards from Jake Luden.
Hernandez was wide open, got behind that Rams secondary. Obviously a busting coverage. Marty English will get those guys over. They'll go over that. Again, they are concentrating on stopping the run. They're going to give up some opportunities outside.
That was Anthony Hawkins in coverage. He was a wide receiver last year as a true freshman. They moved him to cornerback. That's not the way he wanted to start his first start at cornerback.
Jordan Shukir boots through the PAT. Luden showing off the big arm, deep shot. Hernandez, 7 on the board for Oregon State. The Beavers score first in 2017.
Gary Anderson told us he's been very vocal about it. We have to be better at throwing and catching. That was an element that was missing last year for this club. They only averaged 5.9 yards per attempt. It looks like there's some good stuff in the future for Oregon State's offense.
Clark, dangerous return man, takes a huge pop as he gets to the 20-yard line. 7-0 Oregon State. As we take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineup for Colorado State and Nick Stevens.
Nick Stevens is the signal caller, but he's got a go-to weapon out there with Michael Gallup. Michael had over 1,200 yards receiving last year. He's on a current streak of 8 straight games with a touchdown catch, 5 straight games of over 100 yards receiving. The Beavers have to have a plan to corral him, and if they do, it'll be interesting who else steps up offensively for Colorado State.
Stevens out of the shotgun from the 36.
Surprised Colorado State hasn't tried to run the ball more.
There's Dalen Dawkins on the right side. Big hole. Dawkins falls forward. And a productive run. Irvine makes the stop, but a gain of 5. Look at the rest of the Rams offense with Michael Gallup leading the way.
We just mentioned Michael Gallup and what a go-to guy is. They'll have a number of featured plays. But I love this Nick Stevens story. Youngster, 6 of 20 this time last year in his game opener. And obviously he's off to a good start right here.
Stevens flings to the outside. Huge pad on the outside. Easy completion. Easy 1st down. And an excited Ram assistant got tangled up with a Beaver there for a moment, but Cameron Butler with the grab, gain of 11.
Well, I tell you what, Cameron Butler, a true freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, very impressive so far in camp and looking to be an early target here for Nick Stevens. Coaches are really high on this young man being able to help them in plays just like that.
Bobo like going back to his homeland in the South to get players.
Stadiums like this will help them recruit even better.
Stevens to the outside. Gallup again on the screen with blockers ahead inside the Oregon State 40.
They have a ton of plays designed to get Michael Gallup the ball. He's that kind of playmaker. A screen's going to be one of them. They call these jailbreak screens.
At 3 touchdown receptions in the bowl game in Idaho, as Dawkins gets the 1st down handoff and takes a pop from the aggressive safety, Brandon Arnold.
And I tell you what, that was a tremendous job on the left side of that offensive line, just snatching the defensive line right there. Look at the double team between Goldich and center Jake Bennett. Nice job getting those combination blocks. Keep your eye on this defensive line for Oregon State. They're big, but are they in good enough condition to play 4 quarters?
Rams out of the eye. Dawkins with another push on the left side. And shedding a block for a nice tackle, Jalen Moore. We look at the Oregon State defense.
Yeah, linebacker Manasseh Hungalo, active player, second leading tackler last year, playing behind a bulk-up D-line that I think could be challenged today by the temperature, altitude, and the tempo.
Eye again. Dawkins again. Room again inside the 20. Into the red zone for the Colorado State Rams on their second possession. Moore makes the stop again.
Oh, yeah, Colorado State trying to run. Keep your eye on the center right there. Jake Bennett again stays with his block, sustains it. Great move that time by Dawkins to cut off of him.
Stevens to the outside, complete again. That's Olabisi Johnson. Short gain. Rams going up-tempo.
And we talked about this, sorry about that, Rick, but having these guys work the edges and running laterally is going to be body blows to this defense and slowly wear them down.
You're seeing a shift right now with a defensive lineman running out of the game. Listen, Kevin Clune, this is the nightmare he can't have. You cannot have long drives by this offense, given the heat, given the altitude, and given the fact that you may not be deep enough in that defensive front.
The Rams were terrific in the red zone last year, over 80% touchdown percentage. First trip in 2017. Stevens rolling, pass caught just short of the goal line. Trey Smith. First and goal, Colorado State. Arnold makes the stop again.
Great completion that time by Nick Stevens, rolling out to his right. He did have Dietrich Clark wide open backside. If he had gotten off that read, it would have been a touchdown. Oh, man, feed the big dudes.
Straight ahead, Matthews spins into the end zone. Izzy Matthews, touchdown, Colorado State. And the Rams open up their new stadium with a touchdown drive to even it, as Izzy Matthews has his 9th consecutive game with a touchdown run.
Consistency, the hallmark of this offense since the start of the second half of the season last year. Here they are, second drive, looking just mid-season form.
Wyatt Bryan on for the PAT. So the Beavers go 3 and out, come back with a touchdown drive to take the early lead. After the Rams went 3 and out on the opening possession, the first touchdown in Colorado State's new stadium belongs to Izzy Matthews, even at 7 in Fort Collins. Colorado Field, that's the last time the Rams played on campus. Then it was Hughes Stadium, Sonny Lubick Field. Thanks to a large anonymous donation, the new stadium also Sonny Lubick Field, honoring one of the great coaches anywhere in college football. It is Calvin Tyler Jr. back to receive this kickoff from Braxton Davis. Touchback, they'll have it at the 25. Artavis Pearson in running back next to Luton. Shovel. Pierce has it on the edge. Pierce tripping as he gets across the 45. And Schlager makes the stop. Pierce near the 48-yard line.
And I think that's defensive lineman Elu Aiden, backup nose tackle, number 99. Remember, Rick, depth is going to be a factor here late in the game. Week 1, altitude, temperature. That's a big blow for the Beavers defense.
Luton complete to the outside. Another first down for the Beavers. It's Hernandez who had the touchdown grab. Oregon State rolling.
This is what we're talking about. You get so enamored with Nall, you have to get up there, take care of all the gaps. You give corners more conservative roll out there. They're back off. Luton just taking advantage with an easy hitch. First down, Beavers.
Out of the shotgun, Luton, another deep shot. Downfield, incomplete. Contact, no flags. Villeman, the intended receiver. And it's Justin Sweet, the senior from Bishop Gorman High School. No flag.
We've seen Luton be off target on some of the deep balls there. His receiver had inside position. If he had threaded him a little bit more thinner down there, that could have been another touchdown.
That was a trajectory issue, Aaron.
Yep.
All he needed to do is drive that throw. Instead, he tried to get up the hash mark, and it didn't call for that kind of throw.
Oregon State touchdown on their last possession. It's Pierce again. Straight ahead gain of maybe 2, pushing forward for 3. Watson makes the stop.
It's a zone read, and I'm not sure zone read's going to get done what they want it to get done until Luton pulls the ball, right? We don't know if he's a quarterback run threat yet. We've not seen him run.
I asked the coaches that question. They said they're trying to take the ends out of it because, no, he's not a runner. We want those reads to go further outside and C and D gap.
3rd and 8, Luton on the roll, flag down, another deep shot to the end zone. Hernandez again. It's incomplete on 3rd and 8 with Sweet in coverage. And now we check the flag all the way in the backfield.
Holding offense, number 21. That penalty's decline, 4th down.
Mid-season form for you two on the penalties, by the way.
I wouldn't be surprised. It looks as if the punting team's coming on here. They're going to play for field position, but you're in an area of the field where you could conceivably go for it.
Anderson told us punting has to be a weapon for us. He had some faith in his punter. Let's see if he can pin Colorado State inside their 10-yard line.
Porebski, 3rd-year starter. Johnson, first-time punt returner. Good punt. Fair catch called for. Grabs it near the 12-yard line. So the Beavers pin the Rams back. Even at 7 and Fort Fun.
The thing that I'm most excited about is the convenience for the players. The weight room is almost 11,000 square foot. And it's right next to the training room. Everything's kind of tied together for those players.
They spared no expense. There's not one room that you walk into that you're not awestruck. Every single room has something that'll wow you. State of the art, I feel like it competes with any school in the country.
This isn't just a new stadium for Colorado State. This is a huge difference maker for the Rams.
Carter, let me say this. I'm Colorado State green with envy. I tell you what, I could still be coaching if I had facilities like this. This is on par with any Power 5 group, and every Group of 5 athletic director, it ought to be mandatory they come here to Fort Collins and see this. This is absolutely a shrine to college football.
And the effects have been immediate. More recruits on campus, official visits than they've had in the last almost 10 years.
Rams have it from their own 14. Touchdown drive last time. Stevens pulls it, throwing, takes a huge hit as he sends it downfield, and it is intercepted, picked off. Kyle White has the interception. Stevens is laid out as he was drilled. White has the interception. A takeaway for the Beavers.
We talk about the shots they're going to take to Gallup. This was one of them, and Stevens just was late with the ball. They're trying to get a little play action to the right and then throw back against the grain to the left. He just took a little too long. The ball was in the air too long. Oregon State took advantage.
And Anjay Hughes-Murray, coming from that second level on a delayed dog, makes Stevens pay for it. Maybe part of the reason that ball, even though it was late, he couldn't step into it and get enough mustard down the field, but he should have let it go a lot sooner than he did.
I watched him lifting his hips. That's the universal sign for wind knocked out of you.
On 1st and 5, Luton flings complete. Hawkins on the edge. Ridden out of bounds by Nutt. On a short completion, gain of maybe 2.
Really nice open field tackle that time by the senior cornerback Kevin Nutt out of Fresno. Kind of really helped lead the charge of this defense, kind of finding itself at times a little bit last year. They're expecting big things, and that was a really nice play.
Call it 2nd and 3. Fake the sweep. Luton on the roll. Downfield. Incomplete. It's Hawkins there in coverage on the outside on Hernandez.
Great job pressuring the quarterback there by the Ram defense, forcing Luton to take a little extra time. That ball should have been a timing throw. It wasn't. Therefore, it was incomplete.
Toby McBride on the pressure.
Bringing up 3rd and 3. Pressure coming again. Luton delivers again. 1st down, Beavers. This one goes to Wiley Matongi, the sophomore from Hawaii.
I'll say this. It looks like Oregon State's doing a really nice job throwing away from pressure. Right now, Colorado State is being, I think, a little bit predictable, bringing pressure from the field side, and that's opening some things up that Luton's taking advantage of.
Marty English just doesn't think he can pressure with just 4. He's got to bring extra guys. That's the reason he brought the extra pressure. The question is, can Luton hit the easy throws? There he did.
Oregon State near in the red zone, an area of strength for them. in what was otherwise a pretty dismal offensive season last year.
On 1st and 10, Luton tries to throw it into a tiny window. Lucky that wasn't picked by Hawkins.
Well, we just talked about can he make the easy throws. Here he tried to make a very difficult throw. It was a forced ball, and those are the kind of things that end up in turnovers if you're not careful. They'll do some talking to him when he gets back over to the sideline because there was an arrow route wide open right there. And this is just part of being a first-time starter. You get an idea where you want to go with the ball. He chose early, and he chose wrong.
7 plays this drive, all passes for Oregon State. There's a shovel on the outside. Tyner trying to find the edge, spinning right into the arms of Jake Schlager. Tackle for a loss.
There's that pursuit from the second level of Colorado State's defense. They're playing downhill, forcing a 3rd and long here. Great opportunity for them to get themselves off the field or force a field goal by Oregon State.
3rd and 11 for Luton and the Beavers. Long drop, eluding the pressure for a moment. Luton scrambling downfield, tosses it to the sideline, incomplete, as the Ram D forces Luton to get rid of it on 3rd and long. Jordan Fogle finally finishes it off.
Great job and great call by Marty English this time. That's Jordan Fogle, a transfer graduate from Utah. Had him dead to rights. But give Luton credit, being elusive at 6'7", kind of gallops his way out of there and gets it out to the sideline, giving them an opportunity for a field goal. But pressure there, the last couple plays making a difference for the Rams.
Taking advantage of the collegiate rule. Once you're out of the pocket, you can throw the ball out of bounds as long as it crosses the original line of scrimmage.
So it's now a 40-yard attempt for Jordan Schuker. The 40-yarder is easily good. So Oregon State back on top. Schuker, a perfect 2 for 2 in his college kicking career. Field goal gives Oregon State the lead. So Colorado State, where the kickoff, Clark brings it back to near the 25-yard line.
Dietrich Wise in the backfield. Clark, excuse me.
The handoff, and that goes to Crawford, and he pushes near the 1st down. Well, how about that for a wrinkle? And Vakamilalo ends up making the stop. So Wildcat after Stevens takes the big blow.
Well, this is a little wrinkle that they've gone to from time to time. They want to be able to put the ball in their playmakers' hands. That just gives them another way to be able to do it, and they gain 9 yards.
It's 2nd and 13. Stevens pressured again, hit again, screen, room to run. Matthews tripped up from behind, and that's another nice open field tackle. Failunga, the senior from Hawaii, makes the stop.
It was a perfect call to have a linebacker blitz be right in your face, but you nailed it, Carter. Titus Failunga, great job, backside pursuit, saved a huge gain there on the perfect play call.
And before Colorado State gets off the snap for 3rd and 6, the end of the 1st quarter. So Oregon State a 10-7 lead. 1 quarter in the books, college football 2017. Thank goodness there is so much more ahead.
Okay.
First play of the 2nd quarter. Colorado State complete for a 1st down. Fackrell makes the grab and then stretches to the 49 to move the chains.
Unbelievable job there by Nick Stevens. Pressure in his face, comes off his read, finds the open receiver, delivers a BB, and moves the chains.
Out of the eye, body again, right side. This time the Beavers ready. Minimal gain on 1st down.
Bobo's eyes lit up when he talked about this freshman running back. He was very excited about it. We wanted to know about Dalen Dawkins and all the different guys in the running back position. He wanted to say, hey, make sure you watch body.
And no wonder. And you talk about the recruiting and the difference that this place makes, the facilities make. Colorado State, a chance to make a statement today.
It's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's, Carter.
You knew that lesson well.
I should have learned it even better.
So 2nd and 19, 12th play of the Colorado State drive.
Go safe here, screen, something high percentage.
Stevens has protection to the outside. Gallup, well, pretty safe to put in the hands of number 4.
A beautiful route right here by Michael Gallup. He looks like he's headed in for a post, runs the out cut, perfectly timed by Stevens. Single high, all out routes are go routes, and their opportunities for the quarterback receiver there, they take full advantage.
One of Stevens' best throws are those corner routes or the intermediate routes. Wide open, touchdown.
Dawkins has it. Dawkins inside the 10, and there's a touchdown for Colorado State. Dalen Dawkins out of the backfield. Stevens has the TD pass. Stevens on the last possession, the interception, the big pop, and he comes back with a touchdown pass and a drive to put the Rams on top.
We saw this earlier on the other side of the ball with Oregon State throwing into pressure. There, Stevens threw straight into pressure, got the ball over the arms of the oncoming defender. Touchdown, Rams.
Throwing and catching.
The senior from Louisville, nephew of Brian Dawkins, into the end zone. That PAT is good, and Colorado State has a 14-10 lead. Mike Bobo's bunch bounces back. Stevens to Dawkins. Colorado State back on top. Dalen Dawkins, the second Ram into the end zone in this new stadium.
By the way, guys, Stevens on the 2 scoring drives, 9 for 10 for 92 yards.
Whew. Is that good?
That's good. That's Aaron Murray-esque, our colleague with CBS Sports.
When you talk about confidence and bouncing back and maturity, that's exactly where it is for Nick Stevens. A pick, and you come back with that amazing drive with a touchdown.
And in his defense a year ago, Michael Gallup wasn't near the player that he was. He didn't have a supporting cast either. This entire team has gotten better from last year to this, and we just saw it on that last drive.
Another touchback. Oregon State has it at the 25. Fake the sweep, hand it off. Nall, big hole, biggest of the day. He goes sprinting across the 50. Nall is gone. Touchdown, 75 yards. Ryan Nall breaks the big one for the Beavers.
Well, we said this guy was the straw that stirs the drink. Obviously, you can't have that happen if you're the Colorado State defense. You just took control of the game. You had the momentum, and Nall punches you. In the drive where Nall was out, they threw 8 of 9 plays. Nall's back in. He's the featured performer.
Right here, missed tackle. That's what makes Ryan Nall so dangerous. He's big enough to run through you, but also agile enough to shake people in the hole, just like he did Jordan Fogle there, and then use great bursts and acceleration and above average speed for a back his size to score a big one.
Schuker's PAT, Oregon State in one play, 75 yards. Nall, nobody close once he hits it into the end zone. Oregon State back on top.
Play. This guy led the Pac-12 in yards after contact. If you get there late, this is what can happen.
I love how he told us in meetings, I want teams to circle me. I want them to be aware of me. I came up 49 shorts of getting 1,000 yards. That won't happen this year.
Another touchback, Colorado State ball at the 25. A senior from Southern California, Stevens. Handoff. No, it is Stevens. And a misdirection on the outside. It's Johnson fooling everybody as Olabisi Johnson sprints across the 40 for a gain of 17 yards on the misdirection.
Great call on the first play. It's play action. They said they wanted to take some shots on early downs to throw the football when there was a less chance of seeing pressure from Oregon State, and it works beautifully there.
Good fake. Fake it again. This time Stevens has to step up, fling it, just incomplete. Gallup had him. Stevens takes another pop.
You don't get those many chances for that kind of deal. This is, again, a scripted play to get to their superstar, Michael Gallup, their go-to guy, a 1,200-yard receiver a year ago. He was wide open, but a little pressure forced Stevens to move his feet and made the throw inaccurate.
Great.
That's what he wants back, I promise you, Aaron.
Great job navigating the pocket to step up. He gets hit in his waist, so he couldn't step in the throw. It was all arm and off target.
2nd and 10. Now Dawkins gets it and picks up maybe 3. So you're into 3rd down again for the Rams as Filunga makes another stop for the Beavers.
Somewhere Mark Richt is really excited to watch this game. Obviously Mike Bobo is one of his proteges. He's now the calling plays, but a lot of 21 personnel, meaning 2 backs and 1 tight end in the game. That's creating extra gaps for this, what we think is a stressed Oregon State defense.
And that's what makes Colorado State so hard to defend. They're so multiple.
Flag down, Stevens deep shot, 3rd and 8. Incomplete, overshooting Olabisi Johnson, but another flag down.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield on the offense. Penalties decline. 4th down.
There was a lot of trouble lining up prior to that 3rd down.
This is interesting. You know, rhythm is so important, not only in the musical world, but also in the world of offense, because you have to have kind of a punch, counter-punch type of rhythm to your offense. They had started the drive beautifully. They had the opportunity on 1st down. They got single high, missed the big play opportunity, find themselves behind the chains, ends up now they're punting.
And it's an even bigger missed opportunity because remember, Oregon State was just on the field. They only had 1 play arrest defensively. Had they strung a drive together there, they could have made some ground in terms of wearing that defense down. That compounded issue is going to be a big one.
Bradford fair catch. Beaver ball. I don't want a parka on right now. It is so warm. As Bradford loses a football. Colorado State on top at the 10. Bradford fumbles. The Rams take it away. Not on top of the football. And the Colorado State defense steps up huge, getting the takeaway.
Carter, that was even huger a year ago. They only had 14. 6 of those were forced fumbles. That's exactly what defensive coordinator Marty English wanted to have out of his unit, to step up and find a way to get that ball back, carrying it away from his body. Boom, right there on the helmet. Josh Watson, the guy we talked about needing to step up to take over for the Deontay Clyburn, comes up with a huge play in the red zone, is exactly where Colorado State wants to be.
This is a great opportunity for this Oregon State defense. This is what you practice in training camp. Sudden change. Kevin Clune's trying to get him to hold him to a field goal.
This is the 3rd trip into the red zone for Colorado State. Touchdowns on the first 2 red zone possessions. Matthews takes it again, straight ahead, falling forward to near the 6-yard line. The red zone bruising back for the Rams.
They had such a high percentage in the red zone, in particular in the second half. Touchdowns across the board. This is where their money spot on the field is. This is where Mike Bobo gets really excited and really creative as a play caller.
They're going to say Matthews is down near the 8.
3-by-1 formation, Rick.
Here's where they're looking maybe for that wide receiver, a little double move at the top. Gallup, a featured performer.
Stevens is going to pull it. Stevens popped as he gets near the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 5 as Hungaloo and Hughes Murray put another hit on Nick Stevens.
Another good job by that Beaver defense. Again, when you don't have a prototype runner at quarterback, you just have to keep it enough to keep the defense honest. We've seen now 1 carry for both quarterbacks on either side of the ball.
Gallup will be on the near side of the screen, bottom of the formation. He had 14 receiving TDs a year ago.
If you're liking one-on-one right here, they're looking out there. They like this Gallup matchup down here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fade throw down here to the bottom. Nope.
Play action. Stevens over the middle. Incomplete out the back of the end zone. There are no flags. A lot of contact. Back with the tight end, the intended receiver, but it's incomplete. Bring it up 4th and goal, and the kicking unit coming on.
Yeah, go ahead, Rick.
Ackel got tripped up here. He looks like he's going to be open at the back of the end zone, but falls over his feet. Again, I go back to who's your bell cow down there. Gallup had one-on-one. I like that matchup.
Yeah, that was Manasseh Hungaloo that was in coverage there on the tight end. That is a great response by this Beaver defense after the turnover inside the dang 10-yard line.
3 on the board for Colorado State, so we're even at 17. But after the turnover, the Oregon State defense stiffens, holding the Rams to 3. Back on campus, and a really cool spot, and a good game to get it rolling with the Beavers and the Rams.
Welcome back, college football, man. This is why We longed for this sport all off-season long, and both of these teams are playing their tails off. We got a tie ball game. We're seeing some great defense, some explosive offense, a little bit of mix of everything. This is all we could have hoped for.
Huge credit to Colorado State, the administration, Dr. Anthony Frank, athletic director Joe Parker. This isn't just a new place, it is a difference maker, and really well done. Another touchback. Beavers have it at the 20.
Cancel gap, cross face, get the dude on the ground.
Pierce, the running back, straight ahead. Pierce running tough across the 30. So the sophomore from Florida, Artavis Pierce, who had 523 rushing yards a year ago, and you can see where Nall and Pierce complement each other.
Yeah, and Tyner got a couple carries in there as well, and we were talking about on the long touchdown drive, they didn't run Nall at all. So you think, why you got a player that's good, you're not giving him some role? Well, they let him rest, and we saw it on that 75-yard touchdown when he was fresh. Single
Safety for the Rams, and the Beavers run right into it for a first down. Watson finally makes the stop.
Right now, Oregon State's having its way against this Colorado State defensive line, and as the game wears on, remember, it's hot on this field, much hotter than it is in the stands, because that's a brand new field turf, which means it's radiating the sun. Those little black specks are rubber, like from the bottom of a tire. It's really hot.
Pass. Give it to Tyner straight ahead. And the senior from Aloha, Oregon, who played with them in Colorado since they were in elementary school, both baseball and football. So this was kind of a fun matchup.
This is just a numbers situation. The numbers dictate, let's run. They got a blocker for every defender. You take advantage, and Tyner churns it out for 6 yards.
2nd and 3. Tyner again, stood up, driven back, and dropped at the 35-yard line. It's Toby McBride and Jacob Buys there on the stop.
This is where Gary Anderson has to decide, is he in 4-down territory? This play caller needs to know here with 3rd down and 4.
Darnell Thompson with some penetration there. Good job. Big 3rd down here. If Colorado State can get themselves off the field.
Luton on 3rd down. Pass incomplete. It's Hawkins there in coverage on the outside. Villeman. And now we'll see the decision from Anderson.
Well, we're at altitude, so it's not as long a field goal as it may first appear. But, again, if you've made the decision that you're going to go kick a field goal, then I like the play call. If you would have liked to have said, you know what, we're churning it, we've been knocking this defensive line off the ball, you run the ball there, even if you fall short, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 is manageable for you.
52-yard attempt from Shuker. Made 40 earlier. This is just the 3rd kick of his college career. Shuker from 52. It is no good. And we are still tied at 17 as the Ram defense gets another stop.
That is significant because there are 4 minutes and 25 seconds left in this half. Colorado State gets the ball back, and remember, Oregon State got the ball to start this game, which means the Rams get the second half kickoff. They could feasibly score here, take all the time off the clock, and get the ball back to start the second half.
I hate to second guess, but everybody second guess me when I coach, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Hey, listen, when you're running the ball like they do, you need to go ahead and churn that ball on 3rd down and see where you are on 4th down. If you fall short and you still want to kick the field goal, you're more than welcome to, but you have an opportunity with a guy like Nall in the backfield to get that 1st down.
I like how you just fired away from it.
Hey, Rick. They took every shot at me known to man.
And had they made the field goal, it would have been a totally different story.
Wouldn't have mentioned it.
Stevens and the Rams rolling. Stevens looking downfield. It is caught. What a grab inside the 45. Johnson makes the catch. Flag down. Arnold there in coverage. Olabisi Johnson. That is a man grab.
This is a corner post, and Olabisi Johnson gets his feet caught up, and he ends up finding a way to make the catch. I think, again, we've talked about this turf. It's brand new. It feels almost like running on the beach as I stood on it.
Defense, number 3. Penalties decline. Result of the play, 1st down.
That's Brandon Arnold, number 3, a physical player at the safety position, particularly against the run. A little too physical there. But look at the patience of Stevens, and delivers that ball in a super tight window, and great hand catch there by Johnson. That's maturity right there, Rick.
You love it. You absolutely love it.
What I love about it is the way that this young man responded after being benched after the first week. He didn't let it get him down, and then he take it in. That the offensive line is now starting to exert their will on that left side.
One of the things about having a mature quarterback like Nick Stevens is you give him the opportunity to make calls at the line of scrimmage. The box count was right. There were 2 safeties. He checks to a run. It's a great first down run, 2nd and 2.
Remember the opener last year? We talked about how Nick Stevens and really the whole offense was just totally ineffective against Colorado. Bench came back. He was hot to close the year. The huge hit. He bounces back and leads a touchdown drive. This is the Nick Stevens they need in 2017.
This is the maturity you look for at quarterbacks. And listen, we're in an era today where quarterbacks, if I'm not starting, I'm departing. Instead of taking that attitude when he was sat down after that performance, a 6-20 performance against Colorado State, he comes back. The second half, he was flawless. I mentioned earlier, 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception in his final regular season games, in the 7 regular season games. Phenomenal player.
He told us transferring never crossed his mind, not in his DNA or his family's. Stevenson is bobbled and caught at the 10. Trey Smith comes back to grab it and bail out his quarterback.
That was an NFL-style throw when the ball was out of Stevens' hands before the receiver turned around. Great heads-up play to get it down.
Hurry up, 1st and 10. Dawkins trips and falls for a loss of 1. Let's go back to the catch by Smith.
A little bit of miscommunication here. I think Stevens thinks he's going to stay still, but Smith ends up starting inside. But great hand-eye right there, getting his hand to stop the ball and then his eyes to catch the ball. Great job by the receiver.
Stevens with confidence to let that ball go either way. I think they weren't on the same page as you mentioned. But again, we're talking maturity. That's something he wouldn't have done a year ago to start the season.
Clock rolling under 2 minutes as the Rams try to bleed the clock and score at the end of the half. Stevens pumps. It is caught! 1st and goal, Colorado State. Battle for the football won by Michael Gallup.
There was a double move by Gallup. I think Stevens wanted Gallup to go behind the safety, though, but they are on enough of a wavelength. They see each other, make the big play inside the 5.
Important correction here. The stick there at the 1, so Gallup makes the grab, but they mark him down back at the 3, so this is 3rd and 2. And Dawkins takes it straight ahead. Touchdown! Dalen Dawkins and Colorado State. With 1:19 before the half, the Rams take the lead. An 8-play touchdown drive ends with Dalen Dawkins into the end zone again. Trey Smith with a terrific grab to set it up. Wyatt Bryan boots through the PAT. Colorado State by a touchdown with 1:19 to go before the half. With 1:19, Braxton Davis will kick it away. So still 3 timeouts and 1:19 on the clock for the Beavers. So the Rams didn't bleed it out before the half, but objective number 1, get in the end zone. Out of the end zone. Returned by Tyler to the 20, so 5 yards shorter than he would have had on a touchback. So
how aggressive will defensive coordinator Marty English be? Doesn't bring anybody here. Luton's got time.
Flings to the outside with the pad. That's caught for a 1st down. Villman makes the grab in front of Justin Sweet. Travorce Johnson, the running back out there for Oregon State in the backfield with Luton. So Nall's on the sideline for now.
Remember, Luton, aside from that early deep shot, hasn't been able to throw the ball as well as he would have liked to vertically. He may need to do that on this drive.
Luton flings it back the other way, dropped on the screen. It's Hawkins who drops it, so stops the clock. 39 seconds showing now. Think about this for field goal range, too. Shuker just missed a 52-yarder, so you're trying to get inside the Colorado State 35 to give him a better chance.
Ideally, when you practice these in practice, now you're not always playing at 5,000 feet elevation, but you're always trying to get to the 30. You can extend that in this particular situation because of the altitude.
Gary Anderson very familiar with the altitude with his stops in the state of Utah.
Luton to the outside, that's complete. Johnson across the 50. Schlager forces him out near the 40-yard line. 30 seconds, still 2 timeouts, nearing field goal range after a gain of 16.
Again, these are what I call control passes. They're high percentage, probably 80% passes. Here you're hitting a back out of the backfield. He makes a big play, moves the chains again. Now you're in position to take some shots, although still not necessary until you get yourself into field goal position.
Luton looking for that shot. Rolling outside the pocket. He's going to fling it to the sideline, dumping it incomplete. Stopping the clock with 21 seconds. Roughly 10 yards from where you want to be for a field goal.
We saw Jake Luton early on in the game be a little off target with some deep shots. He's really settled down. I thought done a real nice job on this drive so far, Rick.
Showed great maturity there. What you pointed out earlier with the sack and the clock drive, that's the worst thing right here. He finds a way to avoid a sack and get the ball out of the pocket.
2nd and 10. We'll see if the Beavers take another shot. Luton, time to throw. Here's the deep ball downfield, and it is caught inside the 10-yard line. Bradford holds it in with 13 seconds. Clock temporarily stops as the chains are moved, but Oregon State will not even risk it. Timeout, Oregon State, still 1 in the hip pocket for Anderson. Instead, Schuker on for the field goal, and it sneaks in. 25-yarder to close out the half. An action-packed first half here in Fort Collins, Colorado. The Rams have a 24-20 lead at the break, but the Beavers have brought the fight. A 4-point game. Colorado State on top of Oregon State at the half. As we take a look at our Bud Light game summary, you see there's been a lot of offense in this game. Nall's already gone over 100 rushing yards in this game. 1 turnover on either side, but those 2 turnovers were just field goals. So the offense is unable to capitalize on what the defenses gave him with takeaways. As we expected, a first half dominated by offense, 24-20. We're only at the start of the 3rd quarter, but this one has the feel of who's going to make a stop in the 4th and who's going to get off the field and get out of Fort Collins with a victory to start 2017. Colorado State ball to begin the 2nd half. It's Clark who brings it out. Clark has a block across the 25. Dietrich Clark across the 40, takes it out near the 45-yard line as we check with Ginny Dell.
Carter, Oregon State head coach Gary Anderson told me whoever is tougher in this game is going to come out on top. As far as 2nd half adjustments go, he said defensively they need to stop the run. Offensively, they need to focus on consistent drives. And as for Colorado State, Coach Bobo told me that defensively they need to get pressure on the quarterback. And guys, he said both teams are tired, but they need to keep the pace going.
So sounds like that defense and really the stiffening that we talk about. A hot day. It's going to be, you're at altitude, especially for Oregon State. These are some tough circumstances. You're only halfway through it.
You know, Mike Bobo talked to us yesterday about staying patient as a play caller. I think he's done a magnificent job of that. They've outrushed in terms of 21 carries to only 18 for Oregon State, the Beaver team. And in so doing, they've made that Beaver defense stay on the field, and it's worked out beautifully for them.
So 1st and 15. Stevens comes out firing, completing Michael Gallup to pick up 5 and make it 2nd and 10. Willis on the stop.
That's what we call a little snag route. He comes in, he's the read. You feel the defenders squeeze him. You play off the defenders. No one squeezed him. He gives him the ball.
Gallup over the middle, breaks it across the 50 into Beaver territory at the 42. Ugwebu finally makes the stop. Gain of 17 on the screen.
The bubble screen, middle screen, getting the ball into the playmaker's hands. Oregon State has done a really nice job so far of trying to contain Michael Gallup. Rick, you mentioned it, bringing the safety over the top. What a creative way to get the ball in his hand. He picks up the 1st down.
6th catch of the game for Gallup. Play fake, Stevens takes it, and nobody bites. And it's Jonathan Willis who just stays home on Nick Stevens. No gain.
But they're keeping the defense honest. They had a player for him, which means now they had the numbers are right when they give the ball away, which is why they were able to run the ball 21 times for a 4-yard average in the 1st half.
Dalen Dawkins might have went to the house if he had been a give read on that last one. That edge got blocked really well on that left side.
Opening possession of the 2nd half. Play fake. Stevens over the middle, sliding for the grab. Olabisi Johnson at the 26.
The definition of a timing route is when the receiver sees it when it's halfway there. You can see the ball halfway there to Johnson as he comes inside. Both quarterback and receiver on the same page. Brilliantly executed. And even though it was a sliding catch, it's kind of the right place to do it. You don't have to worry about a defender coming and decleating a receiver as he comes across the middle.
1st and goal. Dawkins in the backfield with Stevens. 1st and goal. Go Wildcat, and it's Clark who takes the snap. Hands off to Dawkins, and all of that for no gain.
I don't know if I like that play call necessarily down here in the red zone. It may be getting too cute. I know that they had an explosive play earlier in the ball game when Kinsey was able to take the football in that Wildcat formation. But here, Nick Stevens under center, I think this gives you the best chance to score down here.
2nd and goal. Stevens tipped and incomplete, intended for Dawkins to make it 3rd and goal.
Had a matchup with the running back and linebacker in man-to-man, trying to throw a back shoulder ball there, but the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage.
That's the 2nd time we've seen a defensive lineman for Oregon State go up and tip the ball again. Extremely well blocked, but he times his jump well, salvages it, and gets a pass broken up.
Bakamelalo gets the tip pass, bringing up 3rd and goal. Stevens from the shotgun, steps up. Stevens dumps it, and it is incomplete, nearly picked on the late shovel. Arnold got 2 hands on it and nearly picked it off in the end zone. Stevens is very glad that was not an interception in the end zone.
I'll let you take this one, Rick.
You remember how I said how mature he was and he was able to make all these plays? This is still why bags under eyes of coaches is a normal look, because they're still 20-somethings making big-time plays like they do in their backyard, this time ill-advised.
Let's make a mental note of that. You wonder if he flinches.
Ryan's field goal is good, so Colorado State up by 7. No Tebow touchdown pass for Stevens. Braxton Davis's kickoff will be a touchback to the 25. And Nall's going to take it again. Falling forward for a gain of maybe a yard. McBride and Thompson on the stop.
And there you said it, falling forward. He always is falling forward. I mean, it's an unglamorous run. There's no question about it, but it's still a yard, and it's still requiring that defense to get up off the ground and walk back in there and knowing that sledgehammer's coming again. It just wears teams out.
You got to be able to think about Darnell Thompson and the job that he's done up front. And remember, Marty English trying to slant and create movement to get that penetration, and it's worked on these last couple plays, but it can also gash you, so you got to be careful.
Handoff to Calvin Tyler, the true freshman from Beaumont, Texas, and he's drilled as soon as he touches it. Evan Colorito, the senior from Beaverton, Oregon, on the southwest side of Portland, on the stop.
There's an old saying in running back play, north and south. Calvin, a true freshman, he's going to get a little bit scolded in the film session. He saw it, tried to get outside and use his speed. That doesn't work at this level. You got to get north and south. That would have been a plus yardage play.
3rd and 10 for Jake Luton and the Beavers. Pressure off the edge. Luton dumps it, tipped, intercepted, picked off over the middle, and it's Trey Thomas who is going to take it inside the 10 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Colorado State. Thomas, a 44-yard pick 6.
Beautifully executed pressure, forcing Luton to throw off balance. He throws behind the receiver, and it's to the house with the Ram defense. This is what you try to do when you're creating pressure on 3rd down.
Marty English said he wanted his group to step up. Remember, it was 2nd and 1 on this drive, and not only did they get themselves off the field, they did a pick 6 to boot while they were doing it.
The PAT is good, and the second half belongs to Colorado State with 5:39 in the 3rd. Thomas raise it high because off the tip ball, off the hand of Hodgins into Trey Thomas. And 44 yards later, touchdown, Rams, 34-20. Braxton Davis, another touchback to the 25. Some important injury updates from Jenny Dell.
Yes, for Colorado State, Ben Knox, the right tackle, he couldn't put any weight onto his left ankle. The trainers helped him back into the locker room. I'll get an update on that. And some good news for Oregon State, the defensive end, Titus Failunga. He's actually back out. He's the one that got carted off the field earlier. Guys, it was actually just cramping. It is extremely hot down here, but he got some fluid stretched out on the sideline, and he's good to go in the game.
That's a big boost for Oregon State.
Huge. You know, you're looking for bodies, but as you're looking for bodies, you'd like them to be really good players. And Titus certainly fills that bill.
I think he's played the best of the defensive linemen up front, certainly making the most plays that have been noticeable with the naked eye. Both of these teams are playing very hard. There's a lot to fight for and a lot at stake for both of these clubs trying to turn the corner on their programs.
Now can Luden and the Oregon State offense bounce back? Quick hitter, there's Nall out of the backfield. Nall stays in bounds, he's still in bounds. Finally across the 50. That's exactly what you were looking for, Rick.
Nall is more than just another pretty face as a running back. He caught 22 passes last year. He was actually a tight end in high school, came to Oregon State as a linebacker, obviously fitting the bill beautifully as the running back, but a great start to a drive that's critical for the Beavers.
Oregon State quarterback making his first start for the Beavers. Play fake. Luden delivers as he's hit, and it's picked off again. This one at the goal line. It's Hawkins who has the interception, and then he loses it out of bounds at the 15. But it's still Colorado State ball, and Hawkins, the converted running back, into corner. You make the big pick and then fumble it out of bounds, but it's a celebration anyway, as the Ram defense has back-to-back interceptions. Now the first was run back for 44 yards for a touchdown. This one by Hawkins prevents the ball from going in the end zone for Oregon State. Out of bounds, who cares? Ram ball. Colorado State with another interception and a 34-20 lead on Oregon State. It was 24-20 Colorado State at the half. A pick six, a field goal. There's a flag down as Izzy Matthews gets a first down for now to the 39, but we'll check the flag.
Offside. Defense, number 95, lined up in the neutral zone. Penalties decline. Result of the play, first down.
Remember, 72 yards a game last year for Oregon State. Administrative penalties, the unavoidable mental errors is something Anderson said was critical to winning today's ball game.
Stevens fakes it, steps up, delivers. Caught inside the 40. What a grab by Dalton Fackrell, the senior tight end, on 3rd and 8, a gain of 20.
That's just great players making great plays, but again, no pressure. He's able to sit back. They've made this throw all summer long. They make it despite the fact that the Beavers are in close pursuit and played great defense.
It's plays like that that lead me to believe that this is a new Colorado State team that is looking to turn the corner.
And Oregon State unable to get the stop on 3rd down. 1st and 10, straight ahead, big hole. Dalen Dawkins takes it to the 25. On the edge, David Morris finally makes the stop.
Just outnumbered into the boundary. There was no secondary help. He had to come from center field to get there. They blocked it perfectly, and Mike Bobo's calling a whale of a game.
Just a nice lead on that outside. The fullback, Adam Prentice, almost broke his neck on it, but he got a really nice job on an isolation block on the linebacker to spring it.
Prentice and Dawkins again in the eye from the 26. Dawkins takes it. Prentice leading the way again as Dawkins falls to the 22 with 30 seconds before the 4th quarter.
Almost exact same play, but this time they did have secondary support. The cornerback took on the block, and the safety was unblocked, makes the tackle for a nice 3-yard gain.
This is the 4th time that last play that we've seen Colorado State run a toss into the boundary. They found something that they like over there.
This next play, the first of the 4th quarter, will be the 10th play of the drive for Colorado State. after they went on a 13-play drive to begin the third. So the Rams own the third quarter and headed to the fourth in the first college football game of the year. It's Colorado State 34-20 on the Beavers of Oregon State. Fourth quarter time at Fort Collins. Headed to the fourth in Fort Collins, Colorado. It is all good news for Colorado State. They outscore the Beavers 10-0 in the third, and under Mike Bobo, 12-0 when headed to the fourth quarter with the lead. And the Rams have the football inside the Oregon State 25. 2nd and 6, first play of the fourth quarter. Stevens fakes it, rolls. Stevens down, field incomplete, intended for Johnson.
Just what we call a misdirection play. He's got the receiver coming from the backside slot over the top. I thought Oregon State played it really well. Stevens was lucky to get that one back. He kind of threw into some traffic there.
Yeah, and it looked like there might have been some impedance there that time. I was wondering if they were going to throw a flag on it, but I think it was just good tight coverage, as you indicated. Third downs in red zone is something that Colorado State's been exceptional at today. Let's see if they got one more in them.
3rd and 6, Stevens. Hit as he throws again to the end zone. Gallup lays out and cannot make the catch. Gallup stretches to try and haul it in. Stevens takes another big pop. Kicking unit coming on.
You got to give credit for Stevens for standing in that pocket, but Gallup gets himself open, gets his fingertips on it, but just a little too far outside his outstretched hands. That's usually a catch that young man makes.
Phenomenal effort. Phenomenal effort.
Brian on for the field goal attempt to make it a 3-score game at the beginning of the fourth. 41-yard attempt coming for Brian. 41-yarder is good as they celebrate on the new Belgium porch. A 37-20 lead for the Rams on the Beavers in the fourth. The Colorado State Rams in control. 17-point lead now in the fourth quarter. Tyler will bring it out. Down by 17. Looking for a spark. Tyler bounces it outside and gets to the 25. We check in again with Jenny.
Well, guys, I mentioned it's hot down here. You can tell players are slowing down. That's because it's at 117 degrees on the field. Remember, this is brand new turf. The field manager said that they were watering the field all week, trying to cool it down and keep moisture in the rubber. You can even tell a huge difference from standing on the sideline to stepping onto that turf. I know you guys are all cushy up there in your booth, but it's rough down here.
Aaron's very cushy.
I don't know how cushy I am. There's been some Gold Bond that's been tested today now, I'll tell you what.
From the TMI department, Aaron Taylor yet again.
Yeah, overshare.
So now Oregon State down by 3 scores. There's plenty of time left, but this is a tough task.
You're going to have to come out of your patience mode. I don't know that they've been patient. They'll look back and wonder about that coming in, but they're going to have to hit those kind of passes if they're going to get back in this game.
That play was just mistimed. They weren't on the same page, and to me, that's a play you have to make to start your comeback if you want to do it. It just didn't seem like there was a sense of urgency there. Keep your eye on these players. Their attitude and demeanor is going to say a lot about how serious they are about getting themselves back into this game with it being this hot.
The only 2 possessions of the second half for Oregon State ended in interceptions. A pick 6 and an INT on the last possession. And even with Nall carrying the football on second down, not much there. Patrick Moody, true freshman from Vero Beach, Florida, on the tackle.
I'll tell you what, Marty English, the defensive coordinator for the Rams, has done really well. He's timed his pressures. You saw that pressure, but it came too late for Luton to make any necessary adjustments and get out of the play call.
So already 3rd and 8 for the Beavers.
May have some pressure off the edge here. No, he's going to bail.
Pressure up the middle instead. Flushing Luton from the pocket, heaves it downfield and way incomplete. 4th down coming up. Back in your own territory. Here comes the punt unit.
Guys, the Beavers had 208 pass yards at halftime. They only had 4 entire games with over 200 yards a season ago. they have really struggled to start the second half to do anything throwing the football.
I am shocked this is their approach. Their last 2 victories last year were to run the ball. They only threw 39 passes in the 2 games combined. They were 29 of 39, but they controlled the clock. Here they're getting the possession times one-sided.
I mean, just does get it off, and that could have been Johnson Barbara scooped up, and it is. We got to wave it dead at the 26.
It's a muff.
It's scooped. It's a muff.
So it can't be advanced.
I mean, this could have been blocked in the backfield. Poremski gets it away. Then Johnson, after the 53-yard return, is wiped out.
There is no foul on the play for roughing the kicker. He was rugby style. He was out of the pocket. However, the ball was touched by the receiving team, recovered by the kicking team, first down.
So not advanced, but recovered by Oregon State. Great explanation there from Mike DeFee.
You remember at the beginning of the game, he says everybody trying to keep it to 0?
Right.
Things are unraveling here. These are the kind of...
Here's the rugby style kick. He's outside the pocket, no different than a cornerback, being able to throw the football away. But he's forced out of bounds right here with the tip and comes back in. Are they going to need to look at that, Rick?
No. He's allowed, once he establishes his position back in the field, to make the recovery. He couldn't have picked it up and run with it. But it was a muff in any regard.
Now can the Beavers capitalize? They get it inside the Colorado State 25. An Oregon State offense that has done nothing in the second half. Nall, still nothing. Minus yards on first down as the Rams, led by Evan Colorado, the Oregon native, rally to the football.
No surprise that it's Evan Colorado leading the charge here in the fourth quarter. The coaches told us that they needed their defense to step up, to mature. The person to a coach, to a player that said that they did that was the guy in 43 in green that just made that last play.
We talk about this being a game of first. Colorado, the first player for Colorado State to have over 30 relatives in the stadium.
Oregon native.
Pressure coming. 2nd and 13, screen to the outside. The Rams again rally to the football. It's Schlager who gets on top of this one after Bradford gets it on the screen. 3rd and long coming.
To be able to defend that, you got to have your head on a swivel and fly to the football. Colorado State has done that. Here's a great opportunity for Oregon State to try and convert this on 3rd down. If they want to get back in the game, this is almost a must conversion here.
Rams bring pressure again. 3rd and long. Luden steps up to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Oregon State. Tongiai holds it in. And the Beavers able to get it back on the special teams mistake. Turn it into a touchdown. A 25-yard touchdown pass. Luden to Tongiai. And still plenty of time in the 4th for Oregon State.
Colorado State brought pressure that time, and that forced Evan Colorado, the player who plays the buck position, we just mentioned him, to be in one-on-one coverage with Noah Tongiai, and he just got beat with his speed.
Shukir, PAT, squibs in there. It's a 10-point game with 11:52. The first points of the second half for Gary Anderson's Beavers. The special teams blunder off the muff punt by Johnson. Oregon State eventually takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Beavers. We got a game in the 4th after all. We expected a tight one in the 4th quarter between the Beavers and the Rams, and thanks to the special teams miscue and Oregon State into the end zone, 10-point game, 11:52 as we kick off the college football season on CBS Sports Network.
This really seemed like a lack of focus almost by both of these teams, but it really was to the credit of the Beavers, the team that found a way to be opportunistic and put a nice cap at the end of a squirrely start to the 3rd quarter.
Touchback, Randall. Gallup on the outside on 1st and 10. Gets to the 31. Tackled by Kyle White.
So if you're Colorado State, we set the whole game up in the open, talking about how the altitude, the temperature, and the tempo is going to have an effect. We have affected the depth of the defensive line for Oregon State. I think it's imperative that Colorado State figures out a way to run the football here in the fourth quarter.
And run the clock, still with a 2-score lead. Stevens dumps it incomplete, trying to set up a screen, and Dalen Dawkins, that's close to targeting on a defenseless receiver. I mean, Clark nearly came off the sideline there to get in a Beaver defender's face. Dalen Dawkins took a good pop.
Another big-time third down opportunity for this Oregon State defense, and get the ball back to their offense. The momentum will clearly have shifted to the guys wearing white.
Yep, and there's only been about 3 or 4 seconds that have been taken off the clock since Colorado State took possession.
Dawkins on the table, Izzy Matthews into the backfield. Stevens, 3rd and 6, hit as he throws again, another deep shot. Gallup makes the grab inside the 30, wrestled down inside the 25, and Michael Gallup on first down and a whole lot more, 48 yards, Stevens to Gallup.
What is this saying? Stars close the show. To get a one-on-one opportunity, an experienced quarterback sees the opportunity. He's not nervous that the game's getting close in the fourth quarter. He puts one on the money. Kid makes the great catch. It's beautiful college football right there,
But to
fellas.
track that football in the air like that, Rick, looking over his left shoulder, then to his right shoulder, back into the sun and come down with it, unbelievable individual effort by Michael Gallup.
134 receiving yards today, and now Matthews knocked out near the 20. Xavier Crawford makes a tough tackle, but this is the weapon that Colorado State knew Michael Gallup would become. Junior college transfer, now his 2nd year as a Ram. He is a big-time playmaker.
We snuck in the staff room yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I walked in, and on the board was right there, Gallup. They had a little list of plays. They're going to make sure they got him his touches because he's that kind of an explosive player.
That's not hyperbole by Rick. We literally snuck into the staff room. But
I'm used to doing that. I've never been invited in a front door.
2nd and 7, Stevens fling to the outside. That's Clark on the edge inside the 10 and into the end zone. Touchdown, Colorado State. The Rams explosive through the air. Gallup with the big one, and then Clark takes it in from 20 yards out. In a minute 29, 75 yards into the end zone for Colorado State.
Perfect example of the pass setting up the run. This is like a run. It's basically like a sweep to the outside on the perimeter. And how about the true freshman wide receiver, Warren Jackson, out there with a tremendous block. Didn't get any touches today, but when he needed him to get in front of a defender, he showed up for a young buck.
It is officially a 20-yard touchdown run for Dietrich Clark. Forget about pounding it, running the clock, getting out of here with a win. The Rams want to score, and they punch it in again. That's Hughes Stadium. Sonny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium off of the distance. A nice setting for a football game, but this is away from campus, so on the edge of the Rockies here.
I've got fond memories there, my friend.
Well, you were 4-0 against the Rams overall.
Just 1-0 there.
Just 1-0 at Hughes Stadium. That's better than 0-1, right?
That's exactly right.
So just 3 miles away, and now we're back on campus. And by the way, as of now, it is the appropriately named CSU Stadium. I say as of now because probably somebody will write a big check soon.
Well,
this is the kind of housewarming party you want to have, is it not?
And yeah, that's a type of housewarming present you want. Points on the board, and they're 10-23 away from a victory over a Pac-12 team. And it's Tyler out of the end zone again, trying to spark something across the 20. So it's Travaris Johnson on the sideline. Low snap, Luton to the outside, caught. And we see it's Villeman who makes the grab. You have Johnson in the backfield now. Nall on the sideline as of now. First half, 107 yards for Ryan Nall. Second half, 8 yards on 5 carries.
That's what happens when you get yourself behind in that deficit that they did early on. The coaches told us they wanted to keep him fresh because he's a great fourth quarter back. They just had to get away from the run game because of what was happening through the air.
Luden to the air again, complete again. Tongiai again. Loses a football, and the Rams on top. Tongiai makes the grab and then loses it. Another takeaway by the Rams D. Richard King comes away with a football, and Colorado State, the fourth takeaway of the day. Raise the bell high again. Richard King.
That was an unbelievable individual effort by Jordan Fogle for the turnover.
The Colorado State defense that was trampled in their bowl game in Boise has bounced back big time against the Beavers. Out of the eye, handing off, that's Body. The freshman has a big hole on the right side, inside the 40. He runs over Jalen Moore. 6 foot, 225.
And what you're not seeing there is pursuit by the Beaver defense. They're just not coming down. They're missing tackles. They're late to get in the hole. They're running behind instead of coming up over the top. These guys starting to look tired, and Body takes advantage of it.
This is why time of possession is important, right? They're out. This defense has been out there a long time. We've already talked about some of the guys that are no longer available. It just becomes a hard deal to take this downhill offense, which now in 21 personnel you're seeing.
How much does that body language tell you? Jalen Moore with hands on hips, shaking his head back and forth after he took the ball. Back to Body inside the 30. He delivers more blows. Jalen Moore makes a stop this time. They're getting to know each other pretty good.
On the eve of a big fight, it's body to the body right there, Aaron.
Well, this is just a weak side ISO. They're going to lead up on this side, and they're going to hit him up inside there. Great job by the left tackle, the backup, Trey Moxley, and Cole Meeks on that side of the football, getting a hat on a hat and moving the pile. And that, Rick, the multiplicity of Colorado State, where they can pound you in 21 personnel and go football 101, or spread you out and go 5 wide and hit you with Michael Gallup over the top, makes this a dangerous offensive team.
The numbers bear that out.
Stevens hands off, Body again. Spinning, he's still on his feet. Body breaks away from the Oregon State D inside the 5. Just keeps rumbling. Hughes Murray had a chance to bring him down, and Rashad Body just blew right over him.
Really nice job by the fullback, Adam Prentice, that time.
In training camp, you put all sorts of different elements, different pieces of your offense together. One of them is 4-minute, which is bleed the clock, keep churning, try to get the game over. How much did you enjoy as an offensive lineman, 4-minute offense?
It was music to our ears. There's no greater joy than moving a man from point A to point B against his will. The great offensive line coach Joe Moore said that, and there's no better representation of that than what we're seeing right here.
Play action now. Stevens on the roll.
It's almost unfair.
Open. Butler has it. Touchdown, Colorado State. Cameron Butler gets into the act. The true freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, celebrates his first touchdown as a Colorado State Ram. Stevens has his 3rd touchdown toss of the day, and Colorado State, with 6:29 to go, rolling over Oregon State.
The Rams have been exerting their will in the run game, and they just run a play-action bootleg, and the young freshman is wide open, but credit his first touchdown to the benefit of those big uglies up front.
After Body took it 4 straight possessions, 4 straight carries on the possession, it's Stevens on the play action, finding Cameron Butler. 500 total yards of offense for the Rams, and another touchdown to celebrate for Colorado State. Oregon State led this game 17-14 on the 75-yard touchdown run from Nall, but now it's all Rams.
Well, what they do here, they're running play action, and it's just going to bring the entire defense over there, and they just sneak freshman Cameron Butler out the backside.
We just talked about it. When you're in a 4-minute drill, that defense has just got to stop, and they get so focused on stopping the run. It's like Rocky Balboa punching the beef. You just keep punching, all of a sudden you slip one out, take one from the bottom of the deck, as my old coach used to say. It's like stealing.
So it was 17-14 Beavers. Since then, 37-10 Rams have outscored Oregon State, and a Colorado State team that not only wants to win the Mountain West, they want to be in that New Year's 6 out of the group of 5. And they have shown up today on both sides of the football. Tyler brings it out, 23. And now Luton and the Beavers trying to find a glimmer of something, and that is not what they're looking for. Watson picks it off. The 5th takeaway today by the Colorado State defense. The Rams have made an opening statement in 2017.
Credit Anjay Dean, the defensive end, 6'4", 240-pound sophomore, for getting the pressure around Jake Luton, who throws yet another ill-advised pass.
But again, this Colorado State defense has been rested. They've been able to sit there and watch their offense out there on the field, take long, conservative drives, go down the field. They're out there able to fly around. Marty English has the ability now to call up some pressures, some stunts to get to the quarterback, and Oregon State has become one-dimensional.
And Rick, remember, defensive coordinator Marty English told us that Josh Watson and Trey Thomas, those guys had to step up. Without Deontay Clyburn being in this game, he needed some good play for those guys. That linebacker unit has played outstanding today, coming up big on plays like that.
5 takeaways, a little shovel on the outside. That's Kinsey.
They can't stop it.
You know, I want to bring this back, and that's a perfect shot of there at Gary Anderson, because, you know, 5 turnovers, most since 2013. Talked about how Oregon State felt like they had found their quarterback in Jake Luton. You saw the big arm, and yet this is right where Oregon State has been the past couple of years. You're getting beat on the road, quarterback turning the football over, offense with 5 turnovers, and you're not in the game at this point in the 4th.
Right, I'm shocked. I just thought we'd see Luton be more of a complement to Nall in the running game, and it's been just the opposite, and I think it's cost him.
Kinsey again inside the 15.
I'll say this, though. Jake Luton has a lot to work with. He made some terrible decisions today. It's his first game playing on this level. When you consider that most of his ill-advised throws were when there was pressure in his face, he showed some escapability, showed ability to navigate the pocket. He did connect on some balls down the field. So there's some positives. But, yeah, you can't go on the road and do what he did. But Oregon State, it's important that they don't panic because they have a lot to work with.
All Beaver fans have to remember is this quarterback who's having such a good day for the Rams was 6 of 20 in the opener a year ago.
That's right.
And was benched. So good things can happen. There's no reason to throw in the towel if you're a Beaver fan.
And how about the decision by Gary Anderson and Kevin McGivern as Kinsey takes it inside the 10. We thought we might see Darrell Garrettson as a wrinkle for Oregon State at quarterback. They've gone with Luton the entire way, even though there's 3 interceptions. It's been Luton's from the get-go.
It has, and yet they've gone away from the formula, and I've said this before, that won them the last 2 games, and it's shocking to me because I think they had a size advantage against Colorado State. As we sat and talked to the defensive coordinator for the Rams, he pointed out they're going to have to move because there is a little bit of a size advantage with the Beavers, but they were able to have enough going on, get them into some 3rd downs, and because Oregon State decided to be a drop-back team today, it ended up turning out in their favor.
Toss sweep.
Kinsey on the edge with the block out ahead. Kinsey inside the 5, close to the 1st down. Kyle White on the stop. Under 4 minutes, Colorado State in command.
That was a beautiful play by Kyle White. I mean, he had to set the edge himself and still be in position to make the tackle. Really, really well done.
3rd and short coming here for Stevens and the Rams. Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, but again, 3rd down and red zone is what I really think Colorado State has done an excellent job of, and that's a carryover from what they did a season ago as well.
7 for 7 scoring in the red zone. 5 touchdowns in the red zone. One of the best a year ago. Again, it goes to Kinsey fighting his way, has a 1st down, 1st and goal. Hughes Murray on the stop. One more just point of point for Oregon State. This was the opportunity for a turning point where they've lost 13 straight on the road. This will be 14 straight. It'll be 0-12 under Gary Anderson on the road. And that is a big, big hurdle for the Beavers.
Their last win, 2014 at Cal. So yes, they've got to get over that. But there's some good things they can take away. I think Aaron pointed that out just a bit ago. And by the way, Colorado State 53 of 56 in the red zone scoring. Obviously off to a great start in 2017.
Stevens first and goal. Kinsey plowed under with 2:39. We'll see if the Rams can punch this one in again. But speaking of opening statements, we're going to see the Bulls of South Florida tonight on CBS Sports Network. A favorite for the New Year's Six as the Group of 5 representative. Mike Bobo's goal was, we want to open the new stadium, but we also want to open 2017, showing this is a Colorado State program ready to contend for that New Year's Six bowl spot.
We came on the air today and talked about it, that this was an opportunity for each of these teams to make a bold statement that this isn't your same old Rams and Beavers team. Well, Colorado State has taken advantage of that and scores another touchdown with an easy walk-in. The new stadium, I felt a win was important, and they certainly found a way to do that.
Kinsey into the end zone, and well, you couldn't draw it up any better for Colorado State. The offense explosive, the defense gets takeaways, and a minute 59, you're walking into the end zone again to cap what is now a blowout win over Oregon State from the Pac-12.
I don't think you're talking too loudly to say Group of 5 take notice. I think this is a real live contender for that berth in the New Year's Day 6.
And I'll say this, there's a lot to like about Colorado State, but just as we defended Oregon State, there's certainly some holes in the Rams game that they're going to have to address as the season progresses.
It is week 0, and yet we're already talking about New Year's. It's fun, huh?
That's all we do in college football, speculate. All we want to do is have the first weekend and talk some games, and now we're not talking about here. We're already looking forward to January.
PAT is barely good there for Wyatt Bryan, so Mike Bobo gets to take off the headset and celebrate with his team. Cam the Ram fired up as well. Wow. Nothing better than a winning locker room to begin the year, and that's what the Rams are going to have. A 58-27 lead. Oregon State football near the 21. Talked to John Allen today in the elevator. He played at the last game at Colorado Field, the first game at Hughes Stadium, and was here today to break in this new on-campus facility for Colorado State football.
That'll win you a drink somewhere.
Hey, it was a real fun time chatting with some of the former Rams and their pride about this place. All right, eye test committee, as Evan Colorado, the Oregon native, gets to celebrate there. You get your chance right here on CBS Sports Network. Colorado State with an opening statement. The Bulls of South Florida taking on San Jose State tonight. And yes, it is August, and yes, it's week 0, but the data points and the eye test fired up already.
Well, you pointed it out. There's nothing like winning. This is a great statement. South Florida gets their chance in just a few short hours.
Colorado State wins the first game of the season, 58-27. The housewarming gift turns into a house party in Fort Collins, 58-27, a blowout win over Oregon State. The Beavers' road losing streak goes to 14 games. The Rams are 1-0, ready to take on the Buffaloes from the Pac-12 again. And it was not just an explosive offense from Mike Bobo. The defense huge with 5 takeaways. And down in that celebration, Jenny Dell with Mike Bobo.
Coach, there was a lot of hype around today's game with it being the first one at the stadium, the first one of the season. Dominating performance by your defense. What do you take away from the first victory of the 2017 college football season?
It was a really special moment for our football program and our university and the Fort Collins community. It's a lot of pressure on our young guys. You know, playing a Pac-12 opponent at home, a lot of responsibility. They came out and fought for 60 minutes. They played hard. Just so proud of the defense the second half, how they played. They didn't get down. They kept playing with the fighter's mentality that we've been talking about, and offense made big play after big play.
This is a beautiful new stadium. What are you hoping this facility brings to your program?
Well, I think we can't even really imagine what this stadium is going to do, for our community, for our campus. It's bringing people back to Colorado State. It's a beautiful campus. It's a great university academically. It's just the beginning here for Colorado State.
Congratulations on a great win.
Thank you.
Get to celebrate with the band and all of the Ram fans everywhere. Happy with a dominant 58-27 win over Oregon State. For Aaron Taylor, Rick Neuheisel, Ginny Dell, producer Scott Brandwine, director Matt Plundle, our entire crew, I'm Carter Blackburn. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. With South Florida San Jose State still to come tonight. After the break, we'll send you back to Brent Stover, Houston Nutt, and Christian Fourier in New York.